Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Brighton and Hove Hope Exchange. My name is Adam, and I'm from Ambigo, as you can see in the top corner there. Now, this event is a special online event. We do these every week on a Friday, but this time we're focusing on Hangleton. So Hangleton is a wonderful place over in Hove Way, and what we're doing this evening is we're bringing together people who have got a goal, an idea, or an ambition to express that to you, and then they'll be sharing what it is that you could help them with. So maybe tonight you will have some information, contacts, advice that you could share with some people this evening, and you could actually help them get a bit closer to what it is that they want to do, their goal, their ambition, their dreams maybe. So I'm over here, and over in Five Ways, we have Andy. Hello, Andy.
Hey, everybody.
In front of the wall of ambitions. What is it you're going to be doing this evening?
Well, I don't know, hang around in a hammock maybe, listen to some people, get some good music on, have a cocktail. Probably not. Actually, what I'm going to do is attend the Wall of Ambition. And this is it. It stands 7.5 foot tall. It's wider than I can reach. And it's a lovely little space where we invite you to write up an ambition, a task, a project, a dream, something you'd like to do. Of course, you can't write it up, so I'll be writing it for you as best I can. And we get to place these ambition calling cards on the Wall of Ambition. Now, normally this goes out into the real world, hang around by the Hangleton and Knoll Community Centre, stuff like that, New Street, Kemp Town Carnival, and we invite people to have a slow browse of people's ambitions, to start a nice, gentle, slow conversation where if you like what someone's put up, you can put a few words of encouragement. If you have some tips and advice, leave them. In fact, we have loads and loads of post-it notes and a complete pocket full of coloured pens ready to put those things up. Maybe you'd like to join somebody on an ambition of theirs and, you know, just basically discover stuff together. That's what this is. That's what I'm here for. Back to you, Adam. Let's bring it on.
Yeah, well, let's bring in somebody who's going to be accompanying us throughout this evening, somebody who lots of people in Hangleton will know well, and that is Gemma. Good evening,
Hi.
Gemma. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So tell us a little bit about you and what you do in Hangleton. How might people know you?
Okay, so I've lived in Hangleton for 14 years. I've worked at Hangleton Community Centre for 10 years. I started out as an administrator, moved my way up to senior administrator, and then for just over a year now, I've been the manager. So
Okay.
I've also worked with some of the community groups. I was secretary for the Friends of Hangleton Park, although I have resigned from that role now. I'm still secretary for the Hangleton Fund for Families, which provide subsidised day trips for families with children with additional needs or families from the Hangleton area on a low income. I was chair of the Hangleton Residents Association, although that's been dissolved now. And just recently I've taken up a temporary secretary role for the Hangleton Harbinger, which is a community magazine in the Hangleton area. So yeah.
Wonderful. We're still waiting for our first participant, Louis, to arrive. So Louis, if you're watching, do click on the link and come and join us. But that gives us a chance, Gemma, to just talk a bit about what for you makes Hangleton special.
I think it's how everyone comes together when anyone needs help. The community just, they come together, they help each other, and they're there for one another. You know, in time of crisis, or there's always someone in Hangleton around this area that you can go to for help, and then everybody else helps around that. That's what I like.
Has that been apparent over the last few months with the lockdown and everything related to it?
More so, yes. It's more noticeable. There's been lots of little groups that have been made, like the Hangleton Mutual Aid, COVID Mutual Aid group, where some volunteers went and delivered groceries to residents that couldn't get out, the elderly and those that were shielding. Yeah, so it was all there before, but it's been more, you know, able to see what's out there since COVID. So yeah.
And in your role as manager at the Hangleton Community Centre, of course, things have been disrupted big time with that. What's the current situation?
We've been closed since March. We've been working hard with the trustees to finalise a reopening plan, which we are going to part-time reopen on the 7th of September. At the moment, especially for our nursery, our resident nursery, which is Little Ducklings Preschool, we're just doing a part-time table, which 9 till 1 at the minute, but we're reviewing it every week, and we hope very, very soon that we can get back to a normal timetable, but it's going to be slow.
I just wondered, since we've still not got Louis yet, I wonder if there's anything that could help you in the centre. Is there anything that people could help the centre with?
I'm not sure right this second.
Well, that's all right, because you can have a think about it.
Our soft play is having to remain closed for health reasons, which is a shame because a lot of the community use that. It's a 2-tiered soft play, scaffolding built soft play with a ball pit, and it's just £2 per family to go in, and you can stay all day if you want. People can make tea and coffee in the kitchen for 30p. Obviously, we're having to keep our kitchen closed, and the soft play area is going to remain closed. But as soon as that reopens, I expect that will be busy.
Yes,
that's a well-used asset in Hangleton. So, but we're working hard, trying to get things back to normal.
Yeah, a lot of people working behind the scenes as well, I'm sure.
Yeah,
so
I'm actually going back to work next Tuesday, the 1st of September. Because obviously there's lots of preparation to do. We've got to mark out on the floor a one-way system, mark out 2 meters apart. I've got to order hand sanitizer. We've got to put signs up everywhere. So I'm going to be busy next week preparing for that.
Well, there'll be so many people that will be appreciative of your efforts as well when it is back open and
I hope
start
so.
the centre again. Lovely.
It's been
Thank
a long
you for
6 months.
Yeah, I can feel it. Thank you. So what your role is this evening, as well as representing everything good about Hangleton, is also you're going to be chipping in, if possible, with any support you can offer participants. So we've had a whole raft of new people start watching. So to recap what this is all about, this evening we've got participants in Hangleton who are going to be sharing their personal goals, ideas and ambitions. And then it's up to you out there to have a listen and think, is there anything that I could help with in terms of offering some advice or some information, maybe some contacts that you have, or any other kind of support that could help you. And we also have a slot later on that is open for you. So if you're watching this and you have your own goal, your own personal goal, no matter what it is, it can be something huge, it can be something really small, it can be something really selfish, it could be something to help others, it can be absolutely anything, then get in touch. So I'll let you know the 3 ways you can do that. They're scrolling across the bottom of the screen, but the easiest thing to do is to comment on Facebook or on YouTube if you're watching this there. And that comment, if you comment on the Ambigo Facebook page, will appear on our screen. We'll be able to show it. So we can test that now. If you are out there watching this, well, we know you are because we can see that you are in the corner of our screen, then you can just leave a little message saying who you are and where you are, and we can show it on the screen. And also you can click on the link that accompanies this video, and you can be brought here into the broadcast and we'll have a chat with you yourself, or you can get in touch on WhatsApp. Just send a message to the number there on the bottom of your screen. Okay, thanks, Gemma. We'll come back to you a little bit later on once we've had our first participant. Unfortunately, we don't have Louis yet, so we'd love to have Louis on because he's got wonderful ambition. But we do have Andy, and we do have some written ambitions that we can go to of people in the Hangleton area. So pen and paper at the ready, Andy, because we've got an ambition here from Amy in Hangleton. And what Amy wants to do is to play a part in supporting elderly and terminally ill people. And so what she's done is she started volunteering for the Cinnamon Trust. And she's going to be walking people's dogs for them and other things to help care for their pets. So the way that you could help Amy is if you know an elderly or terminally ill person who now needs a hand with their animal companion, she'd like you to fill out a form at cinnamon.org.uk so she can help. So it's something really simple. She'll be able to walk your dog or walk their dog. And that will, alleviate some of the pressure on them as if they're old or terminally ill and vulnerable, then they're going to need a bit of support. So you could help out there if you could just link that person up to cinnamon.org.uk, and Amy will then have the opportunity to help out. Is that one clear enough, Andy?
It's very clear.
Okay. I'm going to bring Gemma in, it's all right, Gemma, because she's already thrown in a comment that could help. So, Gemma, what's your comment?
I have a contact at the local befriending service that are looking for anyone that can go and befriend an elderly person or somebody that's isolated. And I think it's a minimum of 1 hour every 2 weeks that you have to commit to. So that's the minimum. And I can pass those details on and she can get in contact.
Yeah, that'd be really useful. So if people are in that situation where they know somebody who is elderly or terminally ill, then that's another piece of really useful information that could really support them. So here is the web address for the Cinnamon Trust. So if you go there, you can fill out a form, and then Amy will be linked in with them and can help them walking their dog or looking after their pet in other ways as well. Thanks, Gemma.
Thank you.
Okay, another written ambition that we have from somebody in, well, I was going to say somebody in Hangleton. This one is a bit different. Who wants to be Hangleton? So this is from Charlotte, and it's a really short one, but simply put, Charlotte and her family want to live in Hangleton. That's her goal. And what is the situation with her is that they live in a council flat, her and her family, in Lewes, and they'd like to do a swap with anyone who'd like to move to Lewes. So if you are in Hangleton and you have a 2-bedroom house, council house, and you fancy moving to Lewes, then Charlotte would like to swap with you. So it'd be a 2-bed house swapped for a 2-bed house. So if anybody is going, actually, yeah, I've thought about living in Lewes for a while, then this could be your opportunity. Need any of that repeating, Andy?
No, it's very straightforward. There are just words that have to be written. So just give me a while and I'll catch up with you.
Yeah. So we've got a whole collection of goals, ideas, and actions that we've accumulated over the past 5 months, well, altogether over the past nearly 4 years now, of people that have partaken in our events. Just earlier explaining, we normally do events where we're in person. We actually bring people together physically in a room or maybe outside at an event. Of course, we can't do that at the moment, and we haven't been able to do it since lockdown. So we decided to bring our events online, and we've been partnering with lots of different community groups and charities so that we can benefit their members and the wider community, bringing everybody together to support everybody's goals, ideas, and ambitions. So if you can help Amy or you can help Charlotte, then you can get in touch in 3 ways. You can leave a comment underneath the video on Facebook or on YouTube, or you can click on the link that you'll see next to the video and you'll actually appear at the bottom of our screen, and we can bring you into the broadcast and we can have a chat with you and you can share your support, or you can send a message on WhatsApp and we'll be able to read that out. Okay, 3rd ambition, Andy. This one is from Victoria. Now, Victoria was actually really disappointed she couldn't join us this evening in the event herself, but she's gone camping in the cruddy rain, as she puts it. I don't know where she is, but what Victoria wants to do is she wants to shoot photos for a charity calendar. Now, here's the disappointing part, because she says the details are top secret, but to help the charity, they need people being photographed to have wonderful hair. Okay, now that's not a department that I'm expert in, but if you can help, then listen to this. Victoria says she's looking for any hairstylists who would be happy to volunteer their time to help the charity and be involved in the photo shoot, preparing people's hair. So she thinks it could be a good opportunity, especially for young stylists, to build their portfolio. And she promises it to be a lot of fun. So there's no money involved, but if you are a young stylist or an aspiring stylist and you're really good at doing people's hair, then reach out, leave a comment or click on the link and join us here, or send a WhatsApp message and we'll be able to connect you to Victoria and you could be involved in that photo shoot for the charity calendar. How's that sound?
It sounds, no pun intended, hair raising.
Very good.
I think there might be a little bit of a lag.
So Gemma is also,
you just being polite.
No, there is a great lag, unfortunately, but that's what you get when you do online events. Internet has its own way of doing things. So Gemma's just written a comment backstage to us saying when the community centre opens in Hangleton, she can put up an ad on the notice board. And I think that was in reference to Charlotte's ambition to move to Hangleton doing a swap. Okay, so we've got 3 ambitions up and we can keep on going. So Lisa is somebody who wants to help people help injured birds. So she wants to help people help injured birds across Brighton and Hove. And so what Lisa's done is she started a Facebook group because she used to ask for help with gulls and pigeons that were in a bad way. And some people would leave very negative, cruel messages. So what she decided to do was create a group for wildlife lovers in the Brighton and Hove area and across East Sussex. So the group provides advice to people who come across gull chicks that have fallen on rooftops, for example, and other birds that have injured themselves and maybe broken a wing or something like that. There was something recently at the local Tesco, wasn't there? There was a big furore around that. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were involved in looking after those birds. So the way that we or you could help Lisa is, well, I'll explain. There's a large group of, but she'd like more. So that means she'd like people to volunteer to collect injured birds, and especially gulls at the moment because it's baby season for gulls. And she'd like you to deliver them to rescue centres for professional rehab or vet treatment. So she wants people as well to share their stories, their tips, their advice, their photos and videos in the group. So if you love wildlife, want to be on hand to help, or you know somebody who is in the area, then search for Brighton and Hove gull, pigeon and wildlife lovers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that as a comment underneath the Ambigo Facebook video that you are watching. And I'll be able to share that on the screen now.
Well, it's nice that you've been able to
have I frozen? Gemma?
Yes.
Have I frozen?
Adam has most definitely frozen. So here we are, on the midst of whatever that strange, wonderful idea from Lisa was. Gemma, if it's okay, just so that I'm not on my own, I need to bring you back in, just so that you and I can have a chat. And I've got to admit, it's lovely. I've been looking at some pictures from the Hanover, Freudian slip. I used to live in Hanover, you see,
did you?
from the Hangleton Community Centre. You've got some great stuff going on there.
Yes, we just had a brand new floor fitted, actually.
Oh, right. Yeah, because I can see people playing table tennis.
Yeah.
And I saw people doing some DJ sets and stuff like that, which it looked really good.
It is a fun-filled community centre. We're really busy, one of the busiest in Brighton and Hove, I'm told. So
one of the difficulties we have with Ambigo, and I'm checking in with you really, whether you've had the same sort of thing, is because of this COVID thing, and because of us having to shut down, we can't meet people in the same way. Oh, I see you have a friend.
It's my daughter. Come and say hello.
Hello.
Lily.
Hi, Jilly. My name's Andy. It's lovely to see you, Jilly.
No, it's Lily.
Lily. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, I've got headphones on only one ear, so Lily, my apologies. Yeah. No, I was wondering because it takes a certain type of person with a certain amount of confidence to come on the show and share their ambition. Whereas one of the things that I love about all the community centres and when we go out and hang around with people is the soft, quiet conversations we have. You know, just over the cup of tea or when we talk to one another in a corridor or something. Those are the most important things.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what happens with your groups and so on? Do you notice that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always available in the office for anyone to come and chat to me about anything. And if I can help them, I will. if it's nothing to do with the centre, then I help them anyway. It's just, I think it's those people that are finding COVID hard with not going out and not being able to talk to people. I mean, I have people turn up at my office for really, small, tiny things that they need help with. And I'm sure it's just because they've got no face-to-face interaction with anyone, and they're just, they're hanging on to that last thread. Let's go and see if I can get any help in here. And I always make them a cup of tea, and we sit down. And I have one lady that came in, and she comes in every week to see me now. And we've made friends, and she's elderly, and she lives near me. And she's great. And what she came in was because she couldn't contact TalkTalk. Her phone had gone down. And I said, well, use the community centre phone. She said, I can't use phones. I'm too old. I can't. And I said, right, go and get your bill, bring it back. I'll ring them on your behalf. You just have to tell them that it's okay for them to speak to me. Yeah. And we sorted it out. And now she comes in every week. And she's like my little old lady friend. She's lovely. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, the friendship thing that you mentioned is so important, because we do this, and we're very, very interested in helping things happen. Sure, absolutely. And down my street, we have our own little mutual aid type thing. We're putting little leaflets through people's letterbox saying, if you're sheltering, if you're isolating, let us know. We'll do the runs for you. We'll go to the corner shops and so on. That's one part of it, and that's good, solid solidarity. That's looking out for each other. Yeah. But it's more than that, and this is what I love about what you're doing. It's more than that. Watching out for one another is one thing. Making friends and friendships that go deeper, so that we can actually share a part of the joys in our lives, and actually find things that we kind of bounce off each other. Yeah. I have a lovely neighbour, really lovely chap. He loves football. I don't. So we don't really have the same sort of area for a friendship, and luckily there are other people who love that sort of sports thing. So you being able to do that, and this is why we love mixing. He's back. Adam is back. I'll just finish what I'm saying, if I may, Adam. And one of the things we're looking for are things that you can share, passions and interests that you can share with others, because that often seems to be the heart of where our friendships come from.
Yes, definitely.
As well as the good solid stuff of, making cups of tea and helping each other. So if I wore a hat, Gemma, I would doff it to you and say, keep doing the good stuff. Adam, are you more with us now, or are you frozen again?
Hello, I should be back now. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're a bit quieter.
This is terrible, isn't it? Sorry about the technology, everybody. Anyway, I missed everything you just said.
We were talking about your hairstyle and how brilliant you'd look on a calendar all about different types of haircuts.
Really? Oh, gosh. But you might have to give me a wig.
We are having trouble hearing you. You sound a little tinny, like you're in the bottom of a well calling up for help. Hello? Hello?
Okay, I'll disappear again. And hopefully Percy will be along any moment. So Percy, our second participant, you can chat with him, but I'll try and figure out the internet problems.
All right. In the meanwhile, Gemma, may I ask and share with you the different sort of passions that people bring to us, and ask you whether you have that sort of thing emerging. And it is weird. We've had some very, very strange. I say strange. They're not strange. They are lovely. They're just not about me. So we've had someone come on who wants to be a wrestler, actually, and he's massive. He's about 6 foot 18 inches or something like that. Built in the right way for it. Walker, if you're watching, I'm talking about you, mate. And he had the greatest, loveliest heart about him, and that was what he was passionate about. What's the most unusual thing you'd say that your lovely people over in Hangleton are interested in? Anything come up for you? I put you on the spot there. My apologies.
You have. I mean, a lot of the Hangleton people up here go crazy about pebbles. Painted pebbles, yes. We have our own painted pebbles group, and decorate a pebble, and then you go and you hide it, and then somebody finds it, and they can either keep it or they can move it and let somebody else find it. And yeah, people go nuts for those pebbles up here.
I got to admit, I love that idea, but then I like arty, creative stuff, and the idea of little secret pebbles all over the place.
Yeah, and in lockdown, a lot of people did the NHS pebbles with the rainbow on, or the NHS logo.
Yeah.
But before that, there's lots of positivity on the pebbles, like be kind, messages like that, and I think it's great. My daughters love going out and finding the pebbles. And you take a photo of yourself holding the pebble, and then you put it on the Facebook page so that whoever's hidden it can see that you found it, and then you can either take it home for a bit and then re-hide it at another time, or you can just re-hide it there and then.
That's a lovely idea. And of course, when we take our kids, and we've had to find ways of being able to give our children exercise and take exercise ourselves, and being able to go hunting for pebbles. Down on our road, we've had this kind of teddy bear theme going.
Oh, we had that here as well, like a teddy bear hunt.
Yeah.
Somebody was getting rid of a load of teddy bears, and nobody wanted them. So what she did is she cable tied them to the lampposts. And children were able to go on a walk, and I had a Peppa Pig on my lamppost outside my house that she'd put, and my kids loved it. It was great, and that's the sort of community spirit and feeling that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
People did that for other children's enjoyment.
Exactly. Yeah. For the longest time, I had my
things like that make this community nice. In my opinion.
I agree, and for the longest time, I had my favourite teddy from when I was a kid with face mask in the front windows, sort of waving as best he could. And every now and again, I'd see lots of other teddy bears around. Of course, he's gone back to his secret hideaway now. So,
oh, has he? Okay.
Yeah. Have the kids been doing okay with it? Seeing their friends at all?
Well, I've got quite a few health problems, so I was shielding.
Oh, right.
So we couldn't leave the house till the 1st of August.
Yeah.
The kids didn't deal with that very well. I'm not sure any children would be able to deal with that very well.
They didn't.
My older one's 14, so she kind of understood. But the 7-year-old was just like, "But why, Mummy? I just want to go to the park. I just want to see my friends. Can't we just go, for a McDonald's for a treat, and we stay in the car?" No, because they were closed. And she's like, "But why, Mummy? Why has everything changed?" She didn't see her dad for 3 months because I couldn't risk her going out or him coming in, which was really hard for her also. So not only did she have no school, no friends, no going out, she wasn't able to see her dad. But since the 1st of August, we've made up for it. We've done lots of nice things. She's seen her daddy lots, and
Have you managed? This is one of the challenges. I mean, luckily my son is a lot older now, but I have these lovely nieces, and the youngest one of them was, understandably getting quite anxious. We do our best to try and say, there is an emergency, but it's okay. We're doing sensible things. How have you been able to kind of give that message to our young ones?
I bought a book actually, which explains coronavirus to children, and it's illustrated by the lady that wrote the Gruffalo.
Oh, brilliant!
And it was £1.99 from Tesco's, and it was brilliant. And we're going to keep that for in our memory box for when they're older and they can tell their children about it. But it explained it a lot better than how I was trying to. That's for sure. And when they can see it written down and there's pictures to go with it, and you can read it again and again and again, and it's the same message. It's the same explanation. It's a good idea, I think.
I think that's inspired. Well done, Tesco's, and
I mean, I'm sure lots of other places sold it, but that's where we got it from. That's it really helped us and my family. So
Thanks for that. What I'm going to do at some point is do a little hunt, and if I can find the link to it, which I'm sure I can, I'll post it into our group for anyone who, like myself, wasn't aware of that. It's such a lovely idea.
Yeah, it is. I
can
grab the book if you want me to get it.
Well, no, it's okay. We'll do a hunt, really. What we're doing is kind of filling in time until Percy joins us, and I can see Adam's in the back area in our sort of green room. Adam, do you have a better connection now?
Well, you'll have to tell me.
That's better.
Yeah?
We
Okay.
can certainly hear you.
I've gone and reset the router and all of that business, so should be okay now. Fingers crossed. Yeah, we don't have a Percy yet, though. We haven't had a Louis, and now we don't have a Percy. It seems like maybe there's some stage fright going on, something. But if you are watching, we'd love to have you on board. So do jump in, even though it's coming towards Gemma's slot. So Gemma T, we have 2 Gemmas this evening. So Gemma will be joining us. You get worried then, thinking, what? No, so we've got another Gemma who will be joining us shortly, all being well. Thank you for having a nice chat while I was away, I'm sure. But we'll come back to you, Gemma, but we'll give you a little bit of a rest now, I think, and
Okay,
a cup of
thank
tea
you.
maybe. Thank you. Oh,
It's so nice, Adam. It's so nice being able to talk to somebody else about your haircut. Really.
oh no.
Yeah.
Is that what you did for the last 10 minutes?
Yeah, absolutely. When you watch back, you see we were talking about how wonderful the light reflects off the dome of your head.
Oh,
That's
I wish
not
I had a
true.
comeback, but you're not follically challenged. Never mind. Okay,
Oh,
should we
I
go
could
to
be.
another written ambition we've got?
Yeah, let's.
Okay, so did we complete the last one? Because I did disappear, didn't I, from Lisa?
Yes, Lisa, I have here saying she wants to help people help injured birds, really by creating an advisory group, the Brighton and Hove Gull, Pigeon and Wildlife Lovers Group, and drawing people together around that. So there's the heart of that ambition. There are other things you said which I'm afraid did get lost in the lag and so on. But the heart of the message is there, and the fact that you've been able to share that link, which will be clickable if you go to the comments and so on, click on that link and it would take you through to the appropriate page. Yeah, so we have that. Plus you told us about Victoria and the mysterious calendar that I nominate you for, with the fantastic hairstyles. Whatever and how that's going to emerge actually is quite exciting. So we'll have to find out about that. And of course, if you are a hairstylist, then fancy having a go, fancy kind of maybe getting some promotional support in that co-promotional way. That might be a nice opportunity there. You told us about Charlotte, who would like to live in Hangleton, and having just spoken to Gemma, and having visited Hangleton a few times as we have, sort of trying to get to know people, it's a lovely part of the city. So I can understand, to the point where, forget Lewis and all the excitement of that, come and live in Hangleton. It sounds like a lovely thing to do. And of course, Amy, who you were going to say?
I was just going to say, well, it needs to be reciprocal. So we need somebody to go to Lewis as well, because that was.
Well,
that
Lewis
was
is a lovely town, isn't it? So there you go. The swap's worth it. Do you like the way I backpedaled there?
Yes, it is a lovely town.
Yeah. And I was just going to remind everybody about Amy's ambition, which is to support the elderly and terminally ill, specifically, lovely word that, through walking their dogs, being able to do that thing so that the dogs can exercise, they can burn off some of that energy and then be back in the home as companions to the elderly and terminally ill people. So it's a bit of a focused ambition, but it's an ambition that has a lot of passion behind it, the caring part of it, and also the way we love animals, and we sort of get into those sort of things, that sort of whatever, the lovely relationships we have with them.
Well, you've got a cat, haven't you?
I'm so resisting, because normally when I talk about pets, and I love my cat, I talk about furry parasites and how they get under our skin, but I'm trying not to say that this evening.
Well, Gemma has just helped us out by leaving the web address to the befriending service that she was talking about earlier. So when we mentioned, I've forgotten the person, was it Amy? Amy's ambition.
Yeah.
So she said that there was a befriending service, and she has a link locally that could help out. And so she's kindly just written a message to us with the web address, which I'm just about to write now as a comment so that we can share it on screen. For anybody who's interested in a befriending service for anybody who's elderly or vulnerable, then you can go to tttb.org.uk. So that stands for Time to Talk Befriending, and that's .org.uk. So if you go there, there's such lovely people at Time to Talk Befriending. I've come across Emily, who runs the service several times in the past, had the pleasure to do so, and she's her heart leads the whole business, the whole charity. So it's a great tip. Okay, should we go to the next? Go on, Andy.
Oh, I was just going to share what Gemma and I were talking about briefly when you were split off into the quantum ether or whatever it is that you went swanning off to, which is how it is lovely to gather together and be supportive of one another, and that's the heart of a good neighborhood. But it's also particularly important to look for where we share passions, to look for the things that we have in common, the exciting things that we want to do, because that becomes a launching point for much deeper type of relationships. More than solidarity, and solidarity is good, we're talking about the seed to long-lasting friendships through shared interests, through stuff that we all find in our own particular areas, exciting. Me, as you know, I love theatre. I'm not very into sports. You, as I know, do love sports. So why the hell we spend time together, heavens knows. Luckily, we do both love helping people. So there you go.
We do. Let's see if we can help Barry. Because Barry said, this is a written ambition from him, he'd like to organise a 50-year reunion with some long-lost friends. He's already found several of them, and he's caught up with them over Zoom. And he's looking for some people that he went to Brighton Technical College with from 1969 to 1972. So if you're of that era, please listen up. So a real long shot, and Barry knows this, but he's asked, does anybody know anybody in the late 60s called Linda Marlowe? Linda Marlowe. And her father was an architect in the city. So that's one. And he also wants to know if anybody can put him in contact with Hayden Dupre. Hayden originally came from Trinidad and Tobago over in the Caribbean. And he also wants to get in touch with somebody called Mr. Ghazali bin Mat Noor. Mr. Ghazali bin Mat Noor. I sound like one of those announcers at the airport. He's from Malaysia. And there are some other names, but we'll say here, all we'll say here is he went to college with them at the time. So if any of those names ring a bell, then get in touch with us and we can connect you to Barry, because he'd love to catch up with them. If they went to college in 1969, then there's a 50-year reunion, so they're going to be in their late 60s, aren't they? So if you out there in your late 60s, you went to Brighton Tech College, or you know somebody who did, then just get in touch if those names ring a bell for you, and we'll see if Barry can extend his 50-year reunion that he'd like to have, which would be pretty special.
I say good luck to you, Barry. This is a lovely, really lovely ambition, and catching up with people we've lost contact with that shared interest from 50 years ago. Yeah, so yes, I echo what it is you're asking for. If you've been around, or you know people who were around back in the late 60s from the Brighton Technical College, and you can help make those connections, spread the word, please do. I just imagine it being lovely to have these people get back in touch with each other and maybe share some incredible anecdotes from the time back then. Yeah. Had a little problem there looking for the right space. Say that again?
You went to college about that time, didn't you?
Not quite. was maybe folks, I deserve this because of all the quips I made about his wonderful hairstyle and so on. I've been around a little while, but not quite as long as that.
Okay, so we should have Gemma T. So we've got Gemma P in the wings, but Gemma T is going to be our next participant. Fingers crossed, she should be with us any moment. But before we hear from her, let's go and have a look at Virginia's goal, because Virginia's ambition is to play music again with all her musical friends. Now,
Oh,
she
what a
usually,
lovely ambition.
she usually likes to go to festivals and generally have a good time there, especially at this time of year. But none of that is happening now. And so Virginia said instead she's thinking the safest thing to do could be to go on a camping trip where open air and they can take the necessary Virginia. And so in terms of how she could be helped, well, she'd like tips from people who can suggest where she and her friends could camp in the Brighton and Hove area. There's about 20 of them, and they'd like to go sometime around now, maybe next week, so as soon as possible. So it needs to be somewhere where they won't have to worry about disturbing.
Oh dear, what a shame, folks. It sounds like Adam has frozen again and is lost in the deep ether. What I've got of the ambition there from Virginia is that somewhere within there's a group of 20 people. So that's a really lovely group. Basically a bubble that they've got themselves, but they need somewhere to be able to gather safely in the field, but also in a way that's not going to disturb others. Hence the idea of looking for a field. So what I'm writing on the ambition calling card is basically looking for a great location. And if you happen to know somebody who knows somebody who owns a field with trees, who can lend them, rent them, whatever, then get in touch and we'll make that contact for you. If you are a musician and you're missing the joys of being part of a festival and the kind of the gregariousness of that, then get in touch and we'll make the contact as well. There may be, I can't say because I don't know for sure, some way of being a part of that, maybe even in future festivals. And this is how festivals grow, really, from a group of friends gathering in a place, sharing a common interest. In this case, it's some kind of music, and then that theme sort of rocketing and taking people forward. So there we go. If you know of a great location, then it'll be lovely to hear from you. Or if you can join in on that, then that's an ambition that might be worth joining as well. Whoops. And as you heard me say to Gemma, really, the heart of Ambigo is not just looking for people to help one another. It's really about sharing what we find passionate, what we find interesting. And if there is something that you really quite like, but are wondering about, especially if you've lost contact with people, or you're quite eager to make more contacts with people, especially as we've all had to kind of shelter more and be locked down, then this is a nice space to do so if you're feeling brave. You can, of course, come and join us live, and we would be more than happy to chat with you. Or if you feel a little shy, and that's very understandable, because as I was sharing with Gemma early on, the heart of what we do is not in the kind of limelight with people. It's in the quiet conversations that we have constantly all the time with our fantastic volunteers who will just have friendly little conversations with people, or leave people to browse the ambitions quietly and slowly at their own pace, and sort of see what comes up for them. And really what we're hoping for is where people find that they've got a shared ambition or a shared passion, and we make the connection, if we can, across to people who you may never have met before, as a way of just bringing us all together. I'm just having a little look in the back area of our screen, and unfortunately, it does look like I'm very much on my own. So, in order to share the evening with you, let's talk about some of the other people who've joined us in the past. Paul, for example, who's been very much focused on how he can help others. We had this lovely little idea of hand-making, home-making fruit bowls, fruit cocktails, fruit packages, stuff like that, specifically for elderly people and people who are poorly, so that he can get that, put those sort of little delicious little treats of fruit and deliver them to people in your area. Now, he was working in an area which sadly I have forgotten where that was, but he was also looking to expand that idea with others. Jenny, from a little while ago, who came on the workshop with us, she was looking to help parents recycle baby clothes. Really, at the heart of her ambition was something pious, sure, about trying to reduce the impact on the environment. So there she was, looking for ways of reducing waste by sharing clothing and so on, and was looking to launch a kind of a group where people could do that. And she was also back then looking for people who might be able to help organize that and manage a kind of library of people's clothing. There we go. It was really nice to spend some time with a chap called Adam, and he was doing a lot of delivery of food back to our fantastic friends and hardworking people in the NHS, with staff at the Brighton General Hospital, and specifically the intensive care unit. There was a personal connection there, and often our people's passions come from that personal experience. So he was running a lovely little program of making food and being able to share that with people in various places. Adam, you're back. It's so nice to see you. And I can see that Jasmine is waiting to come and join us. So yes. May I invite you to bring Jasmine on and introduce us to her ambition?
Let's do that. Hello,
Hi.
Jasmine.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being there. We really appreciate it. Now, we've had a bit of a bizarre event so far. My internet's been a nightmare, and unfortunately, our first 3 participants haven't made it. So you are actually our first participant of the evening, and so we're really thankful for you being there. So please tell us, what is your goal, idea, or ambition?
Well, I'd like to be an interior designer ultimately, but I don't have the qualifications, or it's a little bit complicated. I'm Canadian originally, and I'd like to go back to Canada to do a degree. So whilst I'm here in Brighton, I'd like to get some experience in the kind of real world of interior design. Yeah.
And what is it about interior design that really attracts you to it?
Well, I've always been quite artistic, but I've never really had anything that I'm drawn to, like any design art that I could do a career out of. It's always just been hobbies and what I enjoyed in school. And then more and more recently, I've kind of thought more about that as a career. And then every time I think about it or imagine it and learn more about it, it's been something that actually appeals to me more rather than seems to, frighten me, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And so how could people help you?
I would any information on like tips or anything like that on how to get out there and what kind of stuff I should be doing in this limbo mode before I study, I guess. Any information on like what I should be doing with my time, out of my day job, art-wise, what would be impressive to a company or to presenting when I go and do a degree. And also any kind of contacts with people that would take me on to just be somebody that's there to learn, that kind of thing, I guess.
That's really wicked. Okay, so when was it you first realised actually interior design could be something for me?
So I didn't do very well in my A-levels, and I got really unconfident with anything really. And then I went traveling, and I was, doing that whole thing. And then I was living in Melbourne, Australia, and whilst I was there, I kind of started getting a bit more creative again, and doing just like little things like making jewelry and things like that. And so I started to kind of imagine myself being creative in a career kind of again. And then I don't know. Maybe it's just because I work in hospitality, so of course, like I've worked in many restaurants and things like that, and so I'm always around kind of design and space, and I always admire how even like, you know, retail or restaurants or all these kind of venues will use the space and make it really quirky and make you feel like homey environment, but you're out for lunch and all these kind of things. And the more I thought about it, I kind of, on Instagram, of course, is where you see all that kind of thing. So it's just something that appealed to me more and more. And then I thought I could actually do that, I guess.
Yeah. And how long has it been since you've had this idea that it's something you want to do?
Oh, so I was in Melbourne. I came back last spring. So it was about half of the time in Melbourne, and I was there for 2 years. So it's been about 2 years. It's kind of been on my, you know, mind, thinking that I could get into this, and I've gotten more and more passionate as I've learned more about it, basically.
And I wonder as well if there's anybody locally that might be able to help you out with not necessarily just information, but maybe giving you an opportunity to try it out for real.
Yeah, that's what I would love that. To be able to just, you know, even if it was part-time or volunteering at first, whatever, just to be able to get in there and get some experience.
And what was it that you had in mind to do before this idea came along?
Well, when I did my A-levels, even though I didn't do very well in them, I did choose like arty-based subjects. I did art, textiles, film and cinematography, and then English literature as well. But it's none of, like, I don't know, I just didn't really have much idea. I went to do cinematography in uni, and then I didn't go because I just couldn't really imagine it as like what I actually want to do for decades, you know. I know it's a lot, quite a big pressure. Obviously, people change their career all the time, but yeah. Anyways, I didn't really know, so I just went away traveling.
And how was Melbourne?
It was amazing. It was really, really great experience.
What did you get up to there?
I was planning on traveling Australia, but when I got to Melbourne, I like fell in love. So I like literally with the city, not like with a person. So yeah, so I just stayed. It was amazing, and you know, the lifestyle was really, really great, and going down the coast all the time and stuff like that. It was a really nice lifestyle over there.
But it can't beat the beach in Brighton and Hove, right?
Not at all. No, it's real nice. It's bigger, a lot bigger city, Melbourne, than Brighton, but it's a similar feel. Brighton is kind of Melbourne-ish, just on a small scale, I think. Okay.
Well, back to interior design then. If I can ask you the question that you probably heard a million times before, if you imagine your future 5 years from now, what would that look like?
Realistically, I'd like to get a degree in interior design. So if I imagine my future 5 years from now, I would be doing the degree still. But you know, like extremely confident that I'm getting somewhere with it, and I've got some experience under my belt, and I am looking forward to doing a degree a little bit. I'm 24, so I'm looking forward to doing a degree as like somebody who's a mature student, because I just imagine that if I went when I was younger, when I wasn't really sure, I probably wouldn't have done as well as if I go now. Then I'll be like, you know, so committed to it. So I mean, yeah, I hope that I'll be feeling like full of pride that I'm doing what I want to be doing and on track, you know.
That's really interesting that you say that, because a lot of people might feel like it's not daunting, maybe the opposite, in terms of the social aspect. You know, most of the students are going to be young people, 18, you know, freshers, and when you are 18 and a fresher, it's brilliant. But when you're older and you're around 18-year-old freshers, it's a bit of a different experience. Have you thought about that side of it?
Yeah, I definitely don't want to, you know, if there's the version of halls over in Canada where I plan on doing it, I don't want to do that. I don't think I could live in like student accommodation like that as a 26-year-old or whatever I would be, you know. But I do imagine it. I would probably set up with a regular household of people, and then I would just be studying on the side as a mature student. I probably wouldn't be partying too much like the 18-year-olds.
Well, why not? No, I get it. I really do. Okay, so Andy is busy scribing your ambition. Now let's summarize for him what the goal is. So it's about interior design, but for those new people watching as well, would you just like to describe again what your goal is?
I'd like to basically get some experience in interior design industry. So my ultimate goal is to be an interior designer, and any kind of tips or tricks or what to be doing before I get to that stage, and any contact would also be great, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's marvelous. Well, he's waiting in the wings for me to come to him, and I will do in just a moment. But before we do, I'll share with everybody watching how they can get in touch. So if you think that you could help Jasmine out with any kind of information, tips, advice, contacts, anything that might be supportive, even if you think, oh, it probably won't help, just contribute it anyway, because you never know. So you can leave a message on Facebook. Just leave a comment underneath the video, and we'll be able to share it on the screen. Or if you're watching on YouTube, likewise. Or you can click on the link that accompanies the video, and we'll be able to bring you into this broadcast. Or you can leave a message on WhatsApp. So if you do that on the number that's scrolling across the bottom of the screen, then we'll be able to pick that up and we'll be able to read it out. So if I just wonder if you have in mind, Jasmine, like where you want to be after you've qualified, after you've graduated and you're in the industry and that kind of, where do you want to be?
I do want to be in Canada, but yeah, like I say, I'm Canadian, but I've lived in England for 12 years now. But I would like to be over there again. I imagine kind of being older, I always imagine being over there. But yeah, I mean, I always have family and friends here. So anyways, yeah, after I qualify, I guess I would like to start in the industry over there. But you never know where it'll take you or if I'd come back or whatever.
Lovely. Well, it's exciting anyway, seeing what's going to come. So I'm going to hand you over to Andy now, who's been summarising and writing down your ambition.
Hello, Jasmine.
Hello.
You know, there is something very, very positive to be said about taking a little time out before you go to college and going as a slightly more mature person, not least of which you'll be able to lord it over all those young ones because you have more insight in life. Anyway, that's just a sort of an aside. Thank you very much for bringing such a lovely little ambition. It's not little, such a lovely ambition and sharing it with us. And really, in its simplest form, you clearly enjoy interior design and the lovely ambition of becoming an interior designer, possibly through doing a degree, who knows? And this is one of the magics of Ambigo, and I'll talk about that in a moment. So really, when it comes to the help you're after, we're talking about you'd love advice, opportunity to practice, maybe introductions to and maybe mentors who are in the industry. And Brighton and Hove is such a creative city. It's full of really creative types. So it's a joy to be able to just put that word out there on your behalf and ask for people who are directly involved in this industry, who might be able to step forward and say, hey, Jasmine, yeah, I'll have a chat with you. Or people who are, and this is where the magic starts to come in, because often we'll get people giving advice that we haven't even thought existed. So there may be ideas out there of how you might be able to move forward that will give you more wind to your sails, to use a nautical metaphor. It's a metaphor, isn't it? And they may be able to suggest some fantastic interior design magazines with contacts to editors and some good tips on how to contact them in order to get the opportunity to have those conversations. Or there may be people out there, and we've got a nice wealth of journalists in the city who may be able to say, the journalists I know who focus on interior stuff might be able to kind of make those sort of connections as well. And of course, the history of interior design, we've got some fantastic old buildings around. So there may be curators of museums and pavilions and other locations who might be able to connect you through not just to the history of the design back then, but the conversation that occurs in contemporary interior design kind of areas. Even if someone just points you towards some of the hot top journals about the subject, that might be really useful. I waffle on, but really, in essence, the thing that I've scribbled on an ambition calling card for you, have I captured your ambition well enough to put on the wall?
Yeah, I think so.
In which case, with your permission, let me swap the cameras over. I shall confide. Hi, this is me. It's nice to see you, by the way.
Yeah.
I shall confide with you that we're having some real fun with the technology this evening. Not only has Adam had some internet connections, but just as he started speaking with you, my entire system collapsed and I couldn't get the cameras to work. So we had a little bit of background for this. We've been doing this since sort of March, so something like quite a lot. We've processed over 330 individual ambitions online over this time, which frankly has been a joy because there's so much creativity, there's so much passion in people. And just on the sheer stats thing, sheer numbers thing, we were going to have a bad evening at some point. So my apologies that it's tonight. Anyway, let me grab the ambition calling card that I have scribed on your behalf and plant it nice and firmly here. Whoops. Nice and firmly here on our wall of ambitions. And Jasmine, let me share with you, and for those of you who've just joined us, this is the Ambigo wall of ambitions. It stands, well, about 7.5 foot tall, which gives away my height. It's wider than I can reach, and it's a space where we get to place people's ambitions, dreams, a little project they'd like to work on, a task, something they'd like to do or activity they'd like to be involved in, and we place them on this wall. Now, normally, Jasmine, we hang her out on street corners, you know, in the most dodgy way possible. And we even have little tables with snacks and so on, often provided by our wonderful friends and, you know, kind of one of our funders, the Co-op, who will offer fantastic cupcakes and other delicious nibbles. And we sort of entice people in a very friendly and very safe way to come and read people's ambitions. And it starts a little bit with nosiness. It's really nice to have a good nose at what other people are into. But in that, it becomes the beginning of a slow and very friendly conversation with somebody you don't know who is sharing with you what they are interested in. We're starting with a passion. And that way, you know, you don't know what they look like, and you get to know them more deeply rather than bouncing off that surface of them. And in that conversation, often, not always, but often, people get inspired to make a comment. And that's why we have loads of Post-its around and invested a great deal in lots and lots of different colored pens. And people start to make comments. A few words of encouragement. We love those. It's always really generous, and it's really lovely to receive someone who says, that's a fantastic, lovely idea, go for it. Occasionally, people will give little bits of advice, and this is the magic I was telling you about. Sometimes people will make a suggestion that, you know, that's fine, but they might make a suggestion that we would never have thought of. And that helps so much. It is so hard to ask for something if we don't know it's there. And people with experience of life, from whatever it is your personal lived experience is, and if you can share a thought that might be able to drive Jasmine forward in a way that she never thought she would be available. For example, the best way of getting in touch with local interior design businesses, through maybe a contact like the guys we know at the Good Business Club. They may have contacts and so on. If you're watching, Sarah or Ruth, you know, kind of, and you think someone might fit, then please do kind of get in touch and make those sort of connections. So that's one of the areas where this becomes beneficial. We also have people who might actually know someone. You know, someone says, I know someone who could print that, or I know somebody with a recording studio, or I know somebody who is an interior designer who would love to have a chat with you about it, because there's no one else they know who they can bore with it. I don't mean bore, of course. And of course, my favorite of favorite comments are those people who say, I love this idea. It's really very much my idea as well. I'd love to come along. I'd love to share with you, Jasmine, the hunt for interior designers who could talk with me. We can compare notes. We might even apply to college together, whatever. And if a friendship emerges out of that, that is fabulous. We love that at Ambigo. If not, it's just good, solid looking after each other, and that's worth having any day of the week. There we go, Jasmine. As I've been talking and outlining why the wall is here and what it's doing, and giving you a chance to reflect on it, is there anything you would like to add to your ambition? Anything you'd like to ask for that isn't already there?
I can't think of anything right now.
Don't worry.
I don't know.
It's a slow conversation. So what's going to happen is we're going out live, and thank you for joining us live. It's always lovely to see you. People also watch this after the fact. We keep it running for quite a while, and we keep in touch with the conversation as well, certainly for the first 3 weeks afterwards. So if you're watching on a repeat and you fancy making a comment, do so. The same goes for you, Jasmine. If you feel there's something you'd like to add to it, just log back in, join us on the Facebook page and put a few comments in there. Plus, we love to keep in touch with you anyway, and everyone who joins us. Because there's some other opportunities for us to share. And also, we like to know whether we are helping out. So it's always good to know that. It's a slow conversation. It's a rich conversation. That's the intention. It's a deep conversation. And it's a joy to have you kind of join us and be a part of this. Now, what I'd like to do is invite my friend and colleague, Adam, who might be digitally challenged, but we'll find out, to rejoin us, because his duties include reminding people in the most entertaining way possible how it is they can get in touch with us. Are you up for that, Adam? He might not be.
I don't know how blurry I appear, but hopefully you can hear me at least.
I'm nodding in the hope that you can.
Can you hear me? Yes.
Yes.
Good. Okay. So there are 3 ways in touch. There's a huge lag. It's unbelievable, but for now. So what you can do is simply leave a comment underneath the video that you're watching now. So if
it's almost painful, isn't it, Jasmine? And unfortunately, I don't know how it is for you, but unfortunately, his face is frozen in the worst possible, pose. And to save our kind of gentle, lovely kind of viewers, I'm just going to remove his face and say to you, if you feel able to get in touch and so on, there are 3 ways that you can do so. I know this because I read his script earlier. One is you can leave a comment direct underneath this video, either on the YouTube channel, if you're watching us on that, or on Facebook. Now, it's best in Facebook if you go over to the Ambigo page and leave a message there, because you'll come to us direct and we'll be able to share it live now. Otherwise, it takes a little while to get to us. Another way that you can get in touch with us is to join us here in what we call the studio. Actually, it's my guest room, and it's a sort of another room that he's working from, because we've had to leave our offices in order to keep doing this. But there's a way of doing this. Somewhere around this, I'm sure there is a link. Click on that link and you'll come direct to the recording studio. You go into a kind of green room, which is where Jasmine was earlier on. Jasmine, I apologize. The green room was poorly furnished. We didn't have any snacks for you. Poor funding, and really it looked like your own space. What can I say? And the moment we see you there, we can bring you into the show. It's a show really, and have a really rich conversation with you, and you can share comments direct with Jasmine and Gemma, who's our wonderful guest for the evening. I'll bring her in a moment if she's up for it. Another way of getting in touch is by contacting us on the WhatsApp number, which is scrolling. There it is, scrolling across the bottom of the screen as I talk. There it goes. Now, message that. Normally we would have one of our fantastic volunteers, Emily, who sadly can't be with us this evening at the moment, and she would sit on top and grab that and share it with us, but we are able to do that anyway. So those are the 3 ways that you can get in touch. If of course you're watching this on the repeat, then well, you could WhatsApp us. We'll scratch our heads a little bit as we try and figure out what you're referring to, but we'll make the connection. Of course, you can't join us live if you're on the repeat, but there are future opportunities. Gemma, I can see you. Can you give me a kind of thumbs up if you're happy to join us? Thank you. Jasmine, let me introduce you to the lovely Gemma. Hey, Gemma.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey,
Hi.
Gemma, this is Jasmine.
Jasmine.
Jasmine, this is Gemma. Hey, as you've been listening, have any thoughts or inspirations occurred to you?
My cousin is in her 3rd year at Southampton University, and she's studying interior design.
Wow.
I don't know if she's got any tips or anything. I could ask her if you could pass me Jasmine's contact details, and I could give them to her, and then she could decide whether she would like to phone me or not. I can't remember if she's in her 3rd year or if she's just finished her 3rd year. But she lives in the halls at Southampton University, yeah, and she's just done interior design. So I could put you in contact with her if she didn't mind. I don't know any other interior designers. I don't have any advice.
But
I do know somebody that might.
Yeah.
I mean, just that one contact is fantastic. Yeah. How is how's she doing? Was she enjoying it? Has she been enjoying it?
She loves it, yeah. Like I say, I'm not sure if she's just going to start her 3rd year or if she's just finished her 3rd year. But what part of Brighton are you from, Jasmine?
I'm by Preston Park.
Okay, she lives in Patcham.
Okay.
So that's not. Oh, when she comes home from uni, obviously she's in Patcham, but a lot of the time she's in Southampton. But I can certainly pass your details on to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Gemma, thank you very much. Jasmine, you never know. And of course, yes, and what we will do is we'll make sure that connection is made so that you're able to do that. And of course, if she's not up for it, that's fine. That's part of the accepted thing about doing the Wall of Ambitions. You know, it's a space for people. If you can make the connection, brilliant, but no pressure. Really.
Yeah. Well, if I pass your details on to her, then she can decide if she wants to talk to you.
The nice thing there, of course, Jasmine, is she may be, if she's happy to do so, she might do an introduction or let you know who the tutors were. And you can have a chat, possibly connect with them as well. Yeah. So you get both views, the view from the kind of the professional side of it, as well as the view from her going through what it is you're thinking of doing.
Yeah.
That's great. Gemma, thank you. Jasmine, thank you as well. I can see that Adam's back in, so let me see whether Adam, can you hear us? This might not work. I think you might still be frozen. Okay, Adam, if you can hear us, just jump straight back in when you can. Jasmine, thank you very much. Any last comments before we say a very sad farewell to you?
Good luck.
May I just leave my email address if anybody just want to get in touch?
Yeah, I'll take that, definitely.
Great. Certainly, definitely message that to us, and we will connect up with you again, Jasmine, to make sure that those connections are there.
Okay.
Right. Thank you, Jasmine. And we look forward to being in touch. Bye for now. Gemma, thank you very much, particularly for your patience. I can assure you, and those people who are watching, normally it doesn't go this way. It is particularly frustrating this evening.
It's all right. It's fine.
Now, I can see that Helen is about ready to join us. So if it's all right with you, we'll check in again with you later on.
Okay, yeah.
And I shall ask Helen to join us. There we go. Right. Hello, Helen. Hi. Can you hear me?
Oh, hi. Hi.
Hey, hi. I'm not Adam. Adam is around. We're having technical problems.
That's okay. So am I.
Maybe there's something going on. Maybe there's something in the water. It's been fun.
Mine's kind of my own fault because I haven't got my charger for my computer because I've left it at my mum's because we're actually on holiday in Somerset. And my computer is out of charge, so I'm using my partner's phone because I can't do it on my phone because my camera's cracked. Anyway,
which explains why you've joined us from inside the car.
Exactly. Can you hear me okay?
I can. You are a little quiet, but I can. I'm going to try and bring my friend and colleague Adam back in with us, in the hope that his connections. Adam, are you actually there? There was Helen. It's been like this on and off throughout the evening.
I am.
It's like he's
here. But
Technology's great when it works, but not so good when it doesn't work.
Well, I was telling one of our other kind of guests that, you know, we since we locked down, we've processed something like over 130 ambitions from people over that time, and it's been a joy. And most evenings it's been pretty smooth. So just on the law of averages, it was going to go bad at some point.
At some point,
And this is it. This is the lifetime. I'm wondering if he's because I can see because I got access to the control room. I can see him coming in and out, desperately trying to do what he can.
Maybe it's the
what
weather.
I'm going to do, if it's all right with you, is I'm going to pretend to be Adam for a little bit.
That's fine.
And ask you to share with us your ambition and do what he normally does. I don't do it as well as he does, but you know, we'll see.
That's okay.
To help you do this, I have a little sheet of paper which we call an ambition calling card. Normally, we'd allow you to write these up yourself and join us at the Wall of Ambitions. Normally, we have these fantastic cupcakes and other nibbles supplied by the local co-ops. I know, I'm really sorry.
Missed that one.
Yeah, I'm actually really missing being out there on the street, being able to just personally chat with people without an audience, as it were. But we've had to adapt. So I really thank you for coming on and sharing with us this. So, Helen, what I'm going to do is just write your name, if I may, on the ambition calling card and ask you, can you share with us what your ambition is?
So I have just set up, sorry, I'm really worried the battery might die. I've just set up, I'm using my partner's, I thought it was charging, it's not. I've just set up a project, a local community project called the Benfield Valley Project, and I formed it. It's essentially, at the moment, it's a Facebook page and an Instagram feed, and I set it up because earlier this year I found out that there are a couple of spaces on the Benfield Valley which have been put into the city plan part 2 for development. So there are 100 dwellings that are planned to be built on these 2 spaces, and they're two of the woodland spaces in Benfield Valley. And myself, my children, and lots of people in the community use this space regularly. And when I heard about it, initially it was just someone shared the petition with me that Dawn Barnett, the local councillor, had set up. So I signed it, and then there was just something that I just was like, I can't let go. This just is not right. So I've set up the project, and I've started posting photos of the space and the wildlife that's there and stuff like that. And the reception has been really good, and I've had a few people reach out to connect and to see if they can get more involved. And I've been working with HK Hedgehogs, who are the local hedgehog group, to see. Last week we set up some tunnels, and I was monitoring them day and night for 5 days to see what we had. And in the 2 spaces that we went to, there were no hedgehogs, but there were brown mice. And on one of Lynette, who is one of the people from HK Hedgehogs, she came with me one night, and we actually found bats. And a lot of people were saying, oh yeah, we've got bats near us, but specifically in one of the spaces that's due to be built on, there were Pastrelli bats, which are climate indicators. So they're really important bats, and the fact that we have them in that space is quite significant. And so I've spoken to quite a few people in the community. I've spoken to the conservation group that operates or that look after the Benfield Hill, which is the space of the Benfield Valley on the other side of the A27. And I've spoken to them. I've been working with Dolly quite a lot, and she's just so lovely. And I've been working with the hedgehog ladies, who are also lovely. And I've spoken to Dawn and Claire Johnson from the HK project. And we've been talking about the steps I need to go through to set up an actual kind of, it's called a constituted community group and turn it into something. So my ambition, that was a really long-winded way of saying.
No, it's good. It's good.
That my ambition is to set up a committee for the project and actually turn it into a bona fide, if you like, community group. And then with that group, we would essentially look after, protect the space. We would set up events in the space. We would work with the community groups who are already operating in the area to kind of pull everything together and turn that into a space which isn't just, it's important for people to use the space for dog walking, for walking your kids, and also kind of looking at how other people are using the space and encouraging more people to use it. So hopefully setting up some forest schools, or there's a local forest school group, Be in the Woods. Hopefully, I haven't spoken to them yet, but I'm hoping that I might speak to them about using the space. And the health walks that Brighton and Hove do, they already have one on a Saturday morning. So maybe building that up. And yeah, so my ambition really is to just get together a group of people from both kind of from all along the Benfield Valley and around that area to just to look after it and protect it and actively engage in turning it into something that the council will not even consider touching. Because that's the big thing for me, is like, we need all the woodland we can get. There are brown land spaces all over Brighton and Hove that you could be using for these 100 dwellings. You don't have to build on this land. And that's kind of the biggest thing for me, is like, once it's gone, and we can't do anything to get it back. So that's essentially, like I say, a long-winded way of saying that's what my ambition is.
Helen, I think that was very eloquent. There's a word. Adam, you're back. It's so lovely to see you. Helen has just been sharing with us in what I think has been a very eloquent way. And Helen, I think it makes all the difference that you shared, the wildlife you have seen, how these two pieces of land have been used. It really helps us understand the benefit of that in the community, as well as.
Sorry, I'm just charging.
That's okay. I'm just going for it. If you want to start up and drive us around, that's fine. No, I'm teasing.
It's fine. I've just turned the battery on, so if I get a flat battery tomorrow, it's my fault, but it's fine.
Oh dear.
That's okay.
Well, my apologies. I hope your vehicle works fine.
Oh no,
he might be back. This is brilliant. Adam, you're back. Actually, your image looks pretty good, so I'm hoping that the connection is good as well.
I'm very sorry. To hear some of what you were saying there, but I do apologise for the abysmal internet today. Not that it's my fault. I don't know what's wrong with it, but anyway, would you like me to jump in and give you a rest, Andy? You've got your writing to do.
Oh no, I'm pleased to say that I've managed to write. There's the camera. Right, let's say it's Helen. For me, it's weird to be able to multitask. I claim it's because I'm a bloke. But then I have been told off that might be slightly sexist, thing to have said.
Let's not
but I have. And actually, it's great. Adam, let me tell you what Helen has said, and then invite you to have a chat with Helen to, get into the depth of this. Now, Helen has shared with us how there is a building project, building plans for the Benfield Valley area, building 100 properties. And she's set up a group that she wants to take further, that's celebrating and looking to protect specifically two really what sound like beautiful woodland areas, which have and in partnership with AK Hedgehogs and other groups. She's told us about the wildlife that lives there. Bats, actually quite a specific breed of bats that's a bit rare and so on. And what she wants, the ambition, is to go further with this, to take this, bring a committee together and turn it into a community activity, a community project, like Friends of. So a Friends of group, a society group that will not only help protect the area, but also promote the safe and enjoyable use of that. And she mentioned some lovely ideas. innovative ways of using the space, like as a location for health walks, education for nature and so on. Has that made sense to you, Adam?
It certainly has. I wonder how much support is there currently to protect the Benfield Valley area in Hangleton?
Well, I think from what I've seen from setting up the Facebook page, there were a lot of people that didn't necessarily know that these two spaces had been earmarked on the city plan. And so most of what I've seen, sorry, I'm having to hold my phone just to charge it a little bit so it doesn't suddenly die.
Yeah.
Most of what I've seen from people is anger that these spaces might be built on, frustration that the council want to build on another green space that we have, and similar to me, what can I do to help? You know, that kind of urge to do something positive. And I think, oh, excuse me, I think it's that kind of idea of residents, oh, sorry, I don't know what I'm doing here. Residents wanting to be able to have a say in what happens in their local area. And I've noticed, because I've been running kind of, I run a couple of businesses, and I've been using social media for quite a long time. And what I've noticed is the engagement that the posts that I'm putting up, they're getting, given that I think we've now got there's like 115 likes, and then on top of that, people follow rather than like the page, which is fine. But the engagement is in the thousands because people are sharing the posts, and then the engagement is such that people are obviously scrolling through, slowing down when they see that post, clicking on the images and that sort of thing. And then people have been sending me messages to ask how they can help, or commenting underneath with their, oh, that's another green space gone. And I think for me, it seems as if it's one of those things where if nothing was done, it would be one of those things where one day the diggers rock up and start cutting down all the trees, ploughing up the land, and everyone in the area goes, hang on a minute, I didn't know this was happening. What? Why? What's going on? And then it's gone. And now it's at the point where we're like, well, we know this is going to happen. So what are we going to do to save the space if that's what we want to do? If we want to try and get it off, because that's something that Dawn Barnett was saying, was that we just want to get it off the plan. Because when I spoke to her, and it's probably worth me saying, for me, I mean, I don't align with any political party. So for me, this is very much about the space and not about the kind of politics of it. And one thing that she said was, we just want to get it off the plan completely because it's not appropriate to be building on that land. It's part of the last 3% of chalkland that we have in the South Downs area. And it's a space that should be preserved, similar to what Dolly and Dave and that group have done with Benfield Hill. And so I think the desire is there to help. It's just that possibly no one had really been proactive in setting something up and actually putting people, pooling people together in that way. But for me, it was really important to connect. When I sort of thought, oh, maybe I can just set up a Facebook page or just do something. The first thing I did when I signed the petition and I felt like I wanted to do something, I got in touch with Dawn, then I got in touch with Dolly, then I got in touch with the hedgehogs. And as I've spoken to people, they said, oh, you should speak to such and such, you should speak to such and such, because it's all very well someone's like me saying, I want to set this up and save the day and da 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 da. But actually, there are people doing some incredible work in the community already. And I've always been quite aware of not stepping on anybody's toes in order to try and help, rather than, so for me, it was like, okay, how can I help what's already happening? And when I spoke to Dolly, she said, oh, actually, we've been looking for a champion, in inverted commas, for that part of the Benfield Valley for a long time. So then I sort of came along and it was like, okay, well,
Brilliant.
That was almost like the green light to kind of try and do something. So I hope people want to I hope people want to save it because it's worth it.
And often we do need someone to take a bit of a lead so we can rally up behind them and so on. So it's very, very timely that you've been able to take this on. And in fact, what you're saying about the city is full of activists, people who are very happy to do things for the benefit of our communities and so on, which again is another reason why I love the city so much. And working together is the heart of it. So I celebrate. If I wore a hat, I would doff it to you. I think that's a really brilliant attitude. Yeah. And certainly we do that with Ambigo. Later on, you'll see us invite people if they want to join us, and if we can support them, support us, support them, then it's exactly the same kind of thing. It's good. Adam, do you have any additional questions or thoughts that you'd like to share with Helen while I put this on the wall?
Yeah. So when people say to you, what can I do to help? What do you say to them?
Well, so far, the first thing I've said is sign the petition, because that it's gone up. I don't know what the total is now, but a couple of weeks ago, it had gone up to 1,350, so over 1,000. And I think Dawn's going to present it to the council in October, because loads of stuff's been pushed back because of the whole cycle lane thing. So she said that. So yeah, that's the first thing I do. And if I think it would be great to get that to 3,000. And they're like the Hangleton councillors are already.
Oh dear. Well, Helen did explain to us. Helen did explain to us that she may have had power issues, and the fact that she was coming from the car was part of the reason, was because of those technical issues. It seems to be that kind of night. Gemma, would you like to join us? Oh, I think Helen's back. Helen's back. It's lovely to have you back, Helen. And I was just saying, Gemma, are you happy to join us? I've brought you in temporarily.
Hi, Helen.
All four of us are here, just in case one of us drops out, so we can.
Okay.
You know.
Sorry, I'm here now. Sorry, I touched my screen and everything disappeared, and I don't know why.
Hi, Helen.
Hi.
Hi. So it was me that posted the original petition on Facebook, because my partner is Councillor Nick Lurie, who works with Dawn Barnett, and he's not very good with technology. So it was me that posted it originally for everyone to sign.
Yeah, because it was shared on my daughter's school. We have like a class WhatsApp, so I think someone got it from that, and then it was shared on that. And then so that's really good to know. Hi. Hi.
So Dawn and Nick aren't very good with technology, so I do a lot of their Facebook posts for them.
Oh, cool.
So I do know about the Benfield Valley, and I used to belong to the Friends of Hangleton Park. I was their secretary. So if you need any help with setting a group up, I'm good friends with Claire Johnson as well, personally and work. So and I know Dave and Dolly. They used to be part of the Friends of Hangleton Park, and I know the hedgehog people as well.
Yeah,
that's great. I'm really pleased that you guys have been able to respond to each other in this way, and it's nice to see the post that you put up, Gemma, sort of stretch out and grow in this way. I love the fact that that's happened.
I can also offer you a meeting space at Hangleton Community Centre.
That would be amazing.
A group together.
Wow.
Well, because that was the other thing I was going to say, was sign the petition, and also get in contact if you want to, because I've had people who have come forward and said, I'd like to actually be part of the group when it gets to that point. So if there is anyone that would like to join in and kind of just help to take it forward, because it can't just be me. I want to form a committee so that it's a range of the community, and it's it's a really good project, and I know that the councillors are behind it 100%.
Yeah, a good use of the space, and you're demonstrating it and coming together to own the invention of how we continue to use it. Now I can see that you joined in the control room in the backstage area by Lynette. Lynette, I can see you. Can you put a thumbs up if you'd like to get involved in this conversation? Great. Let me bring you in, add you to the stream, and say hello, Lynette. It is a pleasure and a delight to see you. Thank you for contacting us and getting involved.
Hi.
Hi. May I ask?
This is so fun.
What is your thoughts? What is your response to the proposed Benfield Valley project?
Yeah, definitely. I'm very much, I live just off the Benfield Valley, so it's very important to me. I walk and wander around it. I help out on the local nature reserve, and I'm also an active member of the hedgehog group, the local hedgehog, Hangleton and Knoll hedgehog group. Yeah. So trying to preserve our wildlife and maintain our green spaces is very important to me.
Yes, you need to go back.
Is there some way that some advice you'd like to share with Helen, or did you want to do more to get involved in what she's developing? Or
well, I have already helped Helen a little bit because we put out some.
She's been amazing.
We put out some mammal footprint monitoring tunnels to try and see what mammals, what was actually running around, and we also monitored the bats. So we know the pipistrelle bats are coming through there quite regularly. And then Helen did a great find. She found a little wasp spider. So we've realised that the wasp spiders are in the area. We know the adders are up the top there as well. The planning said that it just put no to wildlife, and yet there's a whole pile of wildlife in the area. And you think about all the youngsters growing up and making use of the space, they'd be denied of all that wonderful, what's going on there. It takes a while to find it, but it's definitely there.
I love that point, Lynette. Thank you very much. I remember growing up with hedgehogs coming into our back garden and so on, and we don't see it anywhere. So what you're championing, if that's the right term, what you're helping to protect, it sounds wonderful.
Well, hedgehogs are very much part of the area. We know they travel through that area up into Portslade, cross back into Hangleton, so they're over the old Shoreham Road, sadly, as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But like Helen said earlier, there's so much brown land across the city that could be built on.
Oh, definitely.
Instead of the Benfield Valley, they've not chosen very wisely with their spot, I'm afraid.
It's not a great idea, no.
Can I ask you? I read that you were looking for people to send photos. Is that something you're still looking for?
Yes, definitely. That's something, because obviously I can get over there kind of most days, but at the moment we're away. But it's always really lovely when you see things through the eyes of other people, and that's why it's important that it's not just me, because lots of different people see different things, and someone might say, oh, look at this, I don't know, whatever, it's spider or bird, and I think it is important to showcase what's there, because like Lynette said, you can't just say purely because you want to build on the land, oh, there's nothing there, no, we don't need to worry about any of it, no, it's fine, there's nothing there, no, don't look, there's nothing there. But if we actually have evidence of the trees and what they do, and from people that are using it on a daily basis with their dogs or whatever, that really, really helps. And also it helps with kind of monitoring how it's used, what people use it for, and then because kind of going forward, it would be really nice to be able to look at, okay, what are the problems and what are the solutions? How can we develop the parts of it that are underused or that people don't go to for some reason? Because the space on so you've got the link road, you've got the roundabout, and then you've got the space to the north and then space to the south, and this is all the bit that's south of the A27. The bit that's kind of to the south of that road, that's the bit that they want to build on, and it's I walked through there the other day, and there's a little path that runs alongside the road on the way to Sainsbury's, and it's dense woodland, but there is a path. So I was wondering if, like, for example, once upon a time they built a path and now it's just been left to kind of grow over and it's a bit unmanaged. And then, because obviously we know that if trees go too out of control in the overstory bit, it means that the bits underneath can't grow. And actually, if it were properly managed, we could work with local forest rangers and, you know, all of those sorts of people who work in the area to see how we can improve the forest floor and turn it into something that people, like a woodland trail, you know, people can walk along there with their dogs and with their children, they can use it. And also it might encourage people not to let their dog poo, pick it up in a bag and hang it in a tree, because it would be like, oh, this is too nice to hang a dog poo bag in a tree. It's just one of
you might be asking a bit too much there.
Oh,
if you just joined us, this is an insight into what might happen with a new committee that Helen is hoping to bring together, supporting the Benfield Valley. And it's a preservation of two wonderful woodland areas there, which clearly has a lot of support. But we need to bring that to the surface. Colin, thank you very much for your message. He says, "Good luck from the Keep the Ridge Green Wildlife and Save Toads Hove Valley groups." And this is the kind of connection that we're really lovely to see. Thank you, Colin, for messaging us and bringing that in. Just to bring us back to, if I may, the function here, which is an invitation for people to get involved, to let people know about it. Helen, thank you very much for bringing this little ambition into this space. Lynette, thank you for jumping in and joining us so impromptu. It's lovely when people do that. And Gemma, likewise. It's really fascinating how it's come back to you, how when you put that post out and to see this kind of grow from there.
Yeah, I will look for your group, Helen, and I'll join and you can message me.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah,
Fantastic.
I will do. Thank you so much. It's really lovely to put a face to a petition.
Yeah.
It is, isn't it? Helen, are there any other last comments you wanted to add to the ambition request here at all?
No, I think just like the Facebook page. It's just the Benfield Valley Project, and if you're on Instagram, it's just the Benfield Valley Project, again with dots in between each word. And then just get in touch if you want to get involved.
Brilliant, Helen, thank you. Lynette, whilst you're here, did you want to tell us, spend a few moments telling us about the work you're doing with hedgehogs and that at all, as or maybe come on to a show in the future?
Right. Well, I've been helping Carol Bean, who's run a very small local hedgehog rescue for about the last 5 years. And the hedgehog project was set up about 6 years ago because we realised there were a fairly reasonable population in the area. So we have worked with the local university to research what's going on. So we have been able to map them over 3 years to see how many hedgehogs are in the area, which is a very challenging project, because hedgehogs all look alike and they're nighttime creatures, so they're not the easiest of animals to track down and find out about. But we have realised that there's a good population around here, so we'd like to be able to maintain that and encourage people to keep their gardens and their green spaces biodiverse, make connections between gardens and green spaces is so important.
So they can travel,
green corridor. And that's why the Benfield project is so important, because if you concrete over that area, you then remove the green corridor. It's a big green corridor in comparison to our gardens, but it's so important to keep those green spaces, even they do look a little unruly and what the heck's going on here, or is the planning?
Exactly, but it's natural.
There's nothing. There's plenty going on there.
Lynette, is there a central place like a Facebook page or a web page
for
your group that you'd like to share with us?
Yes, you can get information on our Facebook page, which is HK Hedgehogs, as simple as that. HK standing for Hangleton and Knoll, so HK Hedgehogs. And we also have an email, so which is a Gmail account, so it's hkhedgehogs@gmail.
That's great, thank you.
So what you see on the screen is actually a comment underneath the Facebook video that everybody's watching now, and you will be able to click on that. So where it says,
Thank you.
you'll be able to click on that, and it will take you through to the group.
Lovely. Thank you, Adam. A clickable link.
So clever.
Okay, well, Helen, thank you very much. Lynette, thank you very much. I'm going to say a goodbye to you for the moment, and we'll stay in touch.
Thank you.
So that you know,
Thank you very much.
one of the things that Adam does do, one of the things that Adam does, I'll tell you guys who are watching on behalf of Adam, is we do attempt to put out these ambitions as a kind of social media campaign in order to make the reach go a little bit further. Adam, am I right in thinking that Helen's is definitely on the list?
Oh, absolutely, yes. All the participants in our events this evening and future events and past events will all get the opportunity to have a social media post written if that's what they desire, so we can try and stretch a bit further with the reach that we have and see if we can get you more support.
Righto. Well, that's quite an interesting and wonderfully involved ambition. It's really nice to go into that sort of depth, especially after the kind of evening we've been having. Adam, you are coming through fairly solidly. So with that in mind, shall I hand the baton back over to you, my friend?
Yes, well, that was our final participant. Helen was our final participant of the evening. You know what I've been doing in the background? Been sending messages to the participants at the start of the evening who weren't able to join us for whatever reason. So hopefully they're okay, but none of them have been able to get back to me, it seems. So that was the last participant. So all that it leaves us to do is to say to you, Gemma, thank you so much for joining us.
I've had a really good time. Thanks for inviting me.
Would you like to share anything about the community centre one last time in terms of what people can expect when it might be open and how they might be able to get involved?
And how they can join?
So we've been working hard behind the scenes to get the community centre open. Just for the minute, it's going to be part-time from the 7th of September. All of our groups are going to be reduced capacity. Unfortunately, our soft play facility can't open yet. We can't take any party bookings yet, but we're reviewing this situation like every week. As soon as government guidelines change and we're able to, we will be offering our services 100%. But at the moment, it seems to be a bit of a slow process. But we have managed to, like I say, open part-time, which is a start. It's work in progress, and I'm just looking forward to getting back to work and seeing all the community and the residents and getting back to some normality.
Yeah, well, you'll be back there on Tuesday, won't you?
I will be back
getting
there.
Things prepared and everything.
Yes, I'm going to spend the week getting everything prepared and ordering supplies of hand sanitizer and marking out markings on the floor and making signs. Yeah.
Well, good luck with it.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll stay in touch. We'll make sure that we'll put a little post out, because I'm sure you'll be putting posts on the Hangleton Community Centre.
Yes, we
Facebook
will.
page,
Yeah.
and we'll share.
And you need to send me Jasmine's email address so I can forward it on to my cousin.
Brilliant. Yes.
Yeah, we'll connect with Jasmine and with Helen as well. All right.
I've just joined my group on Facebook, so yeah. Okay. Thanks for
You're
having
so
me.
efficient. It's a joy to have you on board with us, Gemma. I look forward to seeing you again soon, and hope we can work together again.
Yeah, definitely. And good luck with your venture for your new charity.
Thank
you very much.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, Andy, what an evening it's been. What a roller coaster. It's been wild in more ways than one. So let's have a quick mention of next week's event, which is going to be with a charity based in Brighton called Forward Facing. They do wonderful work, doing surprises, organising surprises and special treats for people who have got long-term or terminal illnesses. And they are going to put together some participants for us who are going to be, such a joy to work with. We've also got an event coming up with We Hope, Open Strings. and the Namyang Pugilistic Society. Now that's
well done.
Martial Arts Association in Brighton and Hove, who also do some wonderful work with marginalised and disadvantaged groups across the city. So it's going to be a joy to bring you those events on our Facebook page. So go to facebook.com/weareambigo, or you can just click on the word Ambigo if you're watching this on a Facebook video in a group. And you can go to our page, give it a like so that you can be kept up to date with all of that. Yes, and I think that's us for now. Anything I've missed, Andy?
Well, no. I think that what you said is absolutely brilliant. And as always, if I may, I'll add Ambigo in the same way that Helen was telling us. It's really good to be working with others. And if you think that we can help you stay in touch with, do a kind of COVID version of keeping your members connected, then we're more than happy to help. It is not the same as meeting face to face. I promise you, we miss that big time because so much happens in those quiet spaces, the little conversations you have in the corner, the smirks over the cups of tea or whatever it is, and the gentle conversations for people who are a little bit shy, and naturally so. This is a way of trying to keep the conversation going, trying to keep that connection going. And we're up for it. We're up and more than happy to help with you, work with you guys, as we have in the past with the likes of the fantastic Kennedy Foundation, the Good Business Club, Friends for Friends, the amazing Stay Up Late guys, and so many others. And if you'd like to have a look at the 330 or so ambitions that we've touched on since we've gone into lockdown, you can find all of those as shows available on the YouTube pages. Plus, if you do comment on those, it'll be a help. If you have some words of inspiration, some tips and advice that you think you can forward, that you think might be useful, then we're standing there. We're ready to kind of bring those in and keep the slow, deep, rich conversations going. Thank you for letting me cut in on top of you, Adam, to say that. I know that, I'm actually going to propose that we go ahead and end early tonight, because I think we deserve the extra break, given the amount of juggling of modems and technology that we've had to do this evening. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll just mention as well that if somebody watching is thinking, well, I'd like to get my own personal goal supported as an individual, not as an organisation, then please do get in touch, because we may well have slots available in our forthcoming events. So send us an email to hello@ambigo.co.uk, or just contact us through Facebook, YouTube, or wherever you're finding us. But yes, let's go and put our feet up and relax for the evening. I think we deserve it after the technical nightmare earlier on.
Yeah.
But well, the 10's well. We've had some really wonderful contributions from the people in Hangleton. So thank you to all of you for being there. And we'll see you again next week. Bye, everyone.
See you again.